Welcome back to the district, guys. We have some very important news. The elephant out of the room is that the B5 is no longer in the garage. Why is that, you may ask? Because it's sitting right here. Look at that thing. All right, so here's the District Imports spring update. Now, we got the Mark IV back, which was prior to winter. But essentially, we had the Mark IV go out to Fortunato, get some really cool coilovers, prototype for it. Here's some content of that. After the coilovers were installed, we took it back to the house and noticed the infamous marbling noise. But it was a 2-hour drive both there and back, and on the way back, it didn't sound pretty good. So we hooked it up to OBD11 and just checked the intake and the exhaust camshaft sensors, and noticed it was like -10 on one of the cams, or -7 I think on the other, which was like way beyond the specs. I'm pretty sure the specs are supposed to be like, you're supposed to be within 3 degrees and not that far negative. So we got the R32 timed, and then we took it out on a few test drives. I got to feel out on the Fortunato coilovers. They fried fantastic. What we have right now are 8K fronts, 10K rears, and this thing, I'm telling you right now, has been nothing short of a blast to drive. The Mark VII went through some issues, so I dailied this car for approximately a month, and it has been the best car I've ever driven in my entire life, like hands down. So a huge shout out to Fortunato for the coilovers, huge shout out to Altered Components in Fredericksburg, Mike Brill, and all the other homies that helped me get this thing running to be daily driven, but this has been a long process. Now, the second part of this update is the B5. So we finally have the B5 running, driving, and stopping. That being said, this car was a huge, huge learning lesson. To be honest with you, it was rough. I mean, there's as some of you guys have started following us from the beginning, like, we bought the cheapest B5 S4 you could possibly find with KO4s. And to get it to run and drive has been nothing short of a nightmare. The team and I have spent like money, blood, sweat, tears. I mean, you know, the typical, but like the amount of times that I've gotten down to like the wire and just sat in the garage and was like, dude, is this even worth it? You know what I mean? Was a lot. Like, in cold winter nights, not hanging out with your homies every weekend because you're working Monday through Friday, and then like you kind of want to get this done because, you know, project anxiety, you don't want it to just sit forever, you know what I mean? So the project anxiety was real, very real. At some point in the last like 9 months, we were down to 1 car, and we have 5 cars. So luckily we're now up to 3 with our dailies, one of the dailies being hurt. But what I will say is that 9 months, starting this, doing a pull, driving it, feeling it from, you know, from like the suspension and whatnot, nothing's like making crazy noises, was probably the biggest payoff I've ever had in my entire life. I mean, it's like taking something you've been baking for that long, I guess like a child, 9 months, huh? But it's like, it's been insane. Like the feeling was so, it was just like, I felt like I was on top of the world, you know what I mean? And I think it was worth it. I mean, we kind of like overstepped on something. There's a lot of things we didn't have to do, you know what I mean? Like we bought another hood for insanely cheap because the carbon hood was peeling. We bought an OEM bumper that's been primered, which is awesome. We got the sport mirror caps, which are sick. And we finished off like the interior, or still finishing the interior with the Nagara blue, and then also with the sport aluminum trim. So there's like some things that we bought in there we probably didn't need to, But at the same time, we wanted to come out with this car and make it look sick. It's really hard to replicate that feeling, and I don't even know if I can make like a metaphor for it, because it's insane. It's like you work like you understand the sacrifice yourself, right? Or you yourself has to put forward the time to making something run and drive. And so it's like you get to the point in the build where you're like, all right, I'm doing this because I want to drive the car, but like the car hasn't done anything else for me other than give me a headache. So it's like you're sacrificing your comfort and your leisure, you know, just to drive an early 2000s sport car. So it's painful. It's really painful. But it taught me a lot about myself. It taught me a lot about B5s in general, and it taught me a lot of patience. And so I come out a stronger man. And I think the team will probably never buy another B5 again. I'm kidding. I got a good buddy that just bought a B5, and I'm gonna go help him with that, because now I pretty much know how to build these things inside and out, except for the motor, which I'll get to in a little bit. But B5 runs and drives. We had to track a crazy, what we thought was a turbo issue for a month. What felt like the impellers hitting the housing. And it was not that at all. It was actually something really stupid. It was the AC condenser spooling at 2,500 RPMs and making this howling noise that sounds like impeller doom. You know what I mean? It was just the weirdest thing. All right, this noise. I don't know what the fuck that noise is. The point of the story is that this is finally out of the garage. It runs and drives. We're sending it into paint, and then we're going to enjoy it as I don't know what yet. Yeah, it's gonna be one hell of an interesting year. Now that this thing is done, we'll go to the next part of the update. Meredith has owned this Mark II VR for a long time. She swapped the motor in, which is a AAA 12-valve VR6. 7 years ago, this thing has been sitting and it hasn't started since. So here's where I come in. Now, I have owned 3 Mark IIs before, and these chassis, these cars are what I'm the most comfortable in. The next month is going to be spending the time identifying, you know, the issues or diagnosing the issues. First things first, right? It's been sitting for 7 years or something like that. So we need to take all the fluids out of it. You gotta take all the gasoline out of it, which she said there's like 10 gallons of gas. That's still in this. This is probably water by now. Got all the fluids out, get the brakes replaced. I'm gonna start it or attempt to start it first, you know what I mean? With new fluids and new components to get it to run. Once the Mark II runs, and I know it's running, which is pretty much phase 1, we're going to pull the motor out. We're gonna pull the motor out, which is like 4 bolts and like 2 hoses and like 5 sensors. And we're gonna start doing the things that I've wanted to do to a Mark II for forever. There's gonna be a long build process to this, like shaving the bay and identifying issues and working through all of like the things you do on a barn find essentially, and then total costs and whatnot too as well. So Mark II is finally up and I'm excited for it. So, all right, let's go check a look about what the B5 cost in the last 9 months and my impressions on the car so far. So I was really skeptical of doing this at first because I didn't want to like ruin my opinion on this car and what it has done to me financially. But we're gonna do it anyways because it's important for the viewers to understand exactly how much goes into financially repairing a basic barn find, almost something like that. This is a very rough estimate because I know I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff, but we're gonna go through it anyways, and you guys can see the trauma firsthand. So going through like our parts list that I got from, I think, Rock Auto, I mean, we're looking at a total of like $711, and that included valve cover gaskets, like power steering reservoir, camshaft sensors, timing belt, and like some miscellaneous seals, a starter, and I'm pretty sure I didn't even throw in the alternator, so let's go ahead and throw in one of those, because we definitely got one of those. And I know we got a good Bosch kit, so that one was 178. So that totaled out to like 890 and 24. But essentially this was like your camshaft sensors, your crankshaft sensors, most of the seals, if not all of them. I know I'm missing a few. And then other things that were easy to get to, like the clutch master and the clutch slave, because I was already taking most of those things apart. So we got a lot of those replaced that are in there. And just from Rock Auto, it was like $890. That doesn't even include what I did for the 034 stuff. So 034. So here's how this went, right? We wanted to upgrade the rear rotors, so we got the caliper bracket upgrade. I bought like the power steering supply hose because I know those go bad, so we ended up getting that anyways. We got 2 of the diverter valves because the one that we had were no name brand, and I decided to do this first because I kind of wanted to stay away from diaphragm. I don't know if I know the 710N works for a lot of people, but again, we went to upgrade just because we could. There was the after-run auxiliary coolant pump delete. I know this isn't a huge issue for most people. I was already with the head apart, so I decided just to do that too. We got the trans mounts, the motor mounts, and then we had the control arm kit with the steel uprights for this car for a late B5. And that totaled out to be so without taxes and everything, about $1,700. Oh my god, I didn't even know we spent all that much. Jeez. And then we bought some things from ECS Tuning, and that's where things got a little bit more expensive. So I remember we had to get the AWE intercoolers. We got AWE intercoolers because it was a single, it was a front mount, and I really didn't want to do a front mount anymore because I like the way the twin intercoolers look. Plus, front mounts don't fit well with the stock bumper, and we ended up getting a stock bumper. So we went with AWE's intercoolers, and I threw in some other parts in the spreadsheet. This is a really, really bad spreadsheet, so don't judge me for this right now. But we're looking at here's the power steering pump, the AWE intercooler, the ignition coil conversion that we got for $400. I think we got on a stellar deal. Spark plugs, alternator, the 034 parts list, the timing belt kit, which I think was this was actually $250 last I checked. All the miscellaneous seals, the bumper we got for I think $500, the hood that we got for $100, the mirrors we got for a steal for $300. Coilovers, thank you SoloWorks, because they sponsored it for our build. So thank you very much, SoloWorks, for doing that for us, because that obviously helped us a lot. The 17Zs, I mean, you can buy those pretty much anywhere. We found some for $200, but the rebuild, and I included the rotors in this, was around $500. And then the rear rotors are about $100. The starter, the power steering reservoir, the camshaft sensors, the crank sensors, the clutch master, and the clutch slave ended up being $5,929 roughly. So you mean to tell me that you would have a almost, that doesn't even include fluids. Hold on. Let's throw fluids in there, right? I don't know, $150 for fluids. Let's say that, right? But then I added the power steering cooler, and that was, I think, $120. So there, it's $6,200. And I'm okay. I think I'm okay. Anyways, so like, if you wanted a no shit rebuilt B5 S4
that you could probably reliably. I haven't even reliably driven it yet, to be honest with you. So I don't even know if it's reliable yet. I'm like 6,200 in it, and then throw in I don't know the cost of the car. Car cost $2,500. It is $8,700 that we're in that B5. It's a lot. We definitely could have bought one for, you know, $4 or $5 grand, but I think that the labor effort would have been the same at some point or another, just to put stuff back in it and spend all that time putting shit together and rebuilding it. So like, I'm not mad at it. It was a pretty expensive, I guess, adventure. Would I do it again?
Yeah.
Meredith says she'd do it again. I don't know if I would do it again.
It's a B5.
It is.
They're
So
only gonna go up and down it.
I get it.
You drove it.
I did drive it, and it was incredibly exhilarating. The problem is it's almost 10 grand for. Yeah, I don't know. I'd probably do it again. I'd probably do it again with like an Avant. I'd probably do it again because I know how to do it now. I think I'm just gonna go drive it now because I get my return of investment somehow. But yeah, so that's what the cost is for that. So yeah, do with that with what you will. All right, so what does this mean? B5 is running, runs, stops, drives, great. Mark II is now up on the chop block. It is going to get everything redone so it runs and drives, and then right after it runs and drives, I want to pull the motor out, shave the bay, get it ready for paint, and I don't know, explore things like ITBs or turbo and cam, because why not? It cost, I think when I was checking out my most recent Rock Auto parts list, it costs less than $1,000 to do everything, including brakes, sensors, clutch, timing chains, like literally everything was less than $1,000, which is a tenth of the price of what the freaking B5 cost us overall. So the goal again, Mark II is going to get up and running. Hopefully this is done in time, but you guys haven't even seen the free car that we received over the fall winter time. And that will be awesome. We'll share some more details on that in the future, because it's still sitting at my uncle's house, and I still don't know why it won't start, but it's going to be a surprise. That is the story of the B5. Build anxiety is real. Never give up, because it fucking sucks when you get beat on multiple times by the same car over and over again. But there's always a light at the end of the tunnel, and as soon as I found it, I kept pushing towards it, and I think it was well worth it. If you find a B5 and you want to build one from nothing, just keep in mind it's going to be expensive. However, if you understand that financial risk, I'm going to tell you right now, if you enjoy driving or having that nostalgic drive factor on a crazy twin turbo small ass sedan, I think you're in for a surprise. Once you learn how to do a B5 S4, I'm pretty sure you can do anything. Like, go take up rocket science, dude. You'll be fine. But yeah. So tune in next time where we start the Mark II build process. I'll go back and do the same POV build style and show you guys how I do it, piece by piece to get it to run. But until then, thank you guys so much for subscribing and liking and commenting on the videos. I hope you guys like the show videos that we have so far. And then check out the website, because our show shirts sold at the day of the show. I think we had like a quarter of the inventory left, but now we have more shirts in stock and we ship them to you. So check out the website, www.districtimportsva.com. Go take a look at the shirts. Meredith has literally hand-drawn those designs, okay? None of that AI nonsense and none of that bullshit. It is all hand-drawn. So take a look at the shirts. They're priced reasonably. I hope you guys like them. Like to see you guys wear that stuff at the next show, next Cars and Coffee, so on and so forth. We appreciate your guys' support so far. And yeah, this is going to be a fun, this is going to be a really, really fun summer for builds. So thank you guys.